soul, save our child.
Hi folks, and welcome back to our chat with Michael J. Bassett. So let's talk about the visual effects. I mean, you've got quite a few things going on in there, haven't you? You've got monsters, you've got kind of zombie-type creatures in there, witches, you've got there's a rather large...
There's going to be a big fire demon at the end, related to somebody from Lord of the Rings, I think, a little bit. But another thing, I mean, the thing about the thing about a movie like Kane is it's a fantasy movie. Therefore, you have fantasy creatures, and that comes with an effects package that you have to address. And with a budget like we were having, you have to be really careful about that because it's not a bottomless pit. You can't keep going back and saying, let's try again, let's do this, let's do that. It's not good enough. You try and make it work within the realms of what you've got in terms of your resources financially and time-wise. And those two things are completely tied as well, you know, time is money. We shopped around to find the cheapest but best effects. Seriously, you know, who could give us the best effect shots at the best price? So that means we handed them over to little companies around town in London to try and get the best work. A few places we shopped to other countries for really simple stuff like wire removals. Because even that...
Patrick
Tatopoulos is, well, he's a director now because he did Underworld 3, but he designed all the creatures in Underworld 1 and 2. Yeah. He'd done a lot of stuff, work for Roland Emmerich, yeah. So Patrick's a great guy, he's a Frenchman. He helped me design some of the creatures.
So were they your basic ideas, which he would then...
Well, I mean, you know, a director always goes, it's my idea.
A workable design.
You sit down, you talk about what it would like it to be with like the fire creature at the end. I said I want it to be a fire elemental that feels like it's wearing a suit of armor, which is it's burning on the inside and has been cased in this hand forged armor. And I went, okay, that sounds pretty good. We'll do that. And so we do some drawings, and then it goes for effects test, and it looks good. And you know, maybe people said it looks a bit like the Balrog, but it's not supposed to. It just has that same sort of origin of fiery hell kind of thing.
Because it's a fire demon.
It's a fire demon.
It's going to have a,
you know. Yeah. And you know, I'd like to probably done a bit more with it, but that's the money. You know, you wanted a big monster at the end and it looks great. The digital work is amazing.
What about the foot shot though, as it comes in?
Yeah.
Was that?
It's a homage to Jurassic Park, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not from
that is
Lord of
quite...
the Rings, because that is an almost.
No. It's the T-Rex from Jurassic Park for me. You know, the foot squishing all the mud. You know.
But as it's striding towards him, that is quite an imposing, intimidating sequence.
So there's things that you do there, and also the other thing is you've got to go. I don't care about other movies because this is this movie, and unfortunately, Lord of the Rings has done everything. It's had 9 hours to do every single fantasy thing you can think of. Zombie warriors, fiery demons, da-da-da-da-da-da. You go, well, shit, what's left for me to do? And then you go, all right, I'm going to do my thing with it. And, you know, Tolkien established the genre in the way that Howard was one of the guys who established the genre. And you sort of got to say, listen, Howard owns this. I mean, I had a big deal with Kane because people said he looks like Van Helsing. Okay,
I was going to mention it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to bring it up.
Predates it.
Yeah, Solomon Kane predates Van Helsing by
hundreds of years.
Yeah, well, decades at least. but when Stephen Sommers made the Van Helsing movie, I'm pretty certain he looked at the Kane design and character and said, that's a good look. We'll have that for Van Helsing. Yeah. Now, what am I supposed to do? Suddenly not have Solomon Kane look like he's supposed to look?
Well, let's face it, what he'd done was totally nick the idea anyway.
You said that, not I, but that's...
but he did. He's got a character who's fighting, you know, the good fight for the Lord Almighty against creatures of the night.
Yeah.
Evil doers.
Yeah. But he did, with Van Helsing, he sort of took it into a children's movie territory. And there's lots of fun to be had with Van Helsing. It's not my particular favourite movie, but...
No.
Right?
Not ours either.
Right. But, you know, it is what it is. And it had this huge budget, it had loads of special effects in it, and some people find it very entertaining. But Kane's look is a little bit like Van Helsing, and James Purefoy looks a little bit like Hugh Jackman.
This is what I was saying.
You know, which is great for James, because he looks fantastic. But again, all those things inevitably put me in a box where people say, looks like Van Helsing. And if you look at, for instance, the comments about the trailer on YouTube, which you do occasionally scroll down it, and people go, looks great, looks crap, looks great, looks great, looks like Van Helsing Part 2. And you kind of go, oh, you know, it's not. Yeah. If anything, it's Van Helsing Part 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? But it's sort of, but what it did do, I think, is a lot of people have said, I hope this is the movie that Van Helsing should have been, which in a weird way it is, because it's the serious version of that. You know, but it's a fantasy movie.
Yeah, it isn't camp at all.
No. Not even a little bit.
There is evil walking this earth, and I will hunt it down. and send it burning back to hell.
Every step you took, every pain you suffered, led you to here.
I am not yet ready for hell.
Come on.